Accessing library computer data.
Hi there Starfleet engineers, and welcome to another episode from Captain's Drydock, where in this episode we're going to be talking about accuracy. Now if you have subscribed to this channel, thank you so much. I hope you're enjoying the content, but you're also wondering, I've already done an episode on accurate parts. Why am I doing another one? Well, if you do have the Enterprise D kit, you full well know how bad it is in regards to accuracy compared to the studio model, and that's what we're going to address in this episode. So aftermarket parts. So aftermarket parts are parts that are made for the model after its production, and usually these are made by very small companies, some guy in his basement or in a garage just making molds or casts or making brass etchings which they'll distribute from their little business. So it swings and roundabouts when it comes to quality and also customer services, but I'm going to talk about 3 companies that I've used, and there's plenty of reviews online if you want to suss them out for yourself. Don's Light and Magic. Now in the Star Trek community, everyone kind of knows about this company because they've been going for years. In fact, I think they were about to shut down last year or the year before, but because of Star Trek's 50th anniversary and there was a huge uptake of business, they carried on producing bits and pieces for those models. Now they're great when it comes to quality. The quality of the model parts are fantastic, and it's the variety. There's stuff that they produce that I'm not seeing anywhere else. And also it's not just brass etchings. They also do paint stencils as well as resin casts for replacement bits for your model. Not just for the Enterprise D, not just for the A, not just for the B, but also the Klingon Bird of Prey as well. So they're highly regarded in regards to variety. But customer services, there is none. I mean, on average, it takes around about 3 months to get your parts. That's right, when you place your order, expect to wait months to be able to get your part, no matter where you live in the world. There are people who get their parts straight away or a couple of weeks later, but that's a rare thing, and they probably are their neighbours, I don't know. But I have to say, from my experience and from what I've read online, 3 months is the rough time you're going to get your parts. So a lot of people have actually tried contacting Don's Light and Magic asking the status, and you will not get a reply. I've written emails and I've also written letters as well, but I've got nothing. However, I do say they're good on their word. They will give you your parts, so just make sure you don't move house within that time frame. So the other company I'm going to recommend is Greenstrawberry. Now in a previous episode I mentioned that they were a Polish company, but my bad, they're not Polish, it's a Czech company based in Czechoslovakia, and they specialise in brass etchings, and the quality is fantastic as well, and the customer service is brilliant. No matter where you are in the world, delivery time is pretty good, and the cost is well worth it as well. But the detail is immense. I mean, I know my Star Trek and I know my Enterprise D from when I was a kid. I've got the technical manual and I know this model inside and out, but they picked up on parts of the details that I did not know existed, which I'll go into later in this episode, because most of the parts I've got for this model come from that company, Greenstrawberry. So I highly recommend this company. So the last company I'm going to be talking about, it's no longer open. Yes, I know, why am I talking about it? Well, with a lot of companies like these, they're kind of small, so they open and close at will sometimes, and this company is called Tetryon Parts. Many of your ears will prick up and actually know about this company, those who actually are experienced at making the Enterprise D. This company was fantastic. I mean, the webpage is still there. I've supplied all the links down below, by the way, so please check them out for yourself. The customer service was superior. I mean, I used to send out an email, I think it was an American-based company or North American-based company, and I'd get an email back within 24 hours, and the parts came to me brilliantly as well. Great quality, and yeah, check out the website. No longer in business, and I think the front page says that they're no longer in business because they just want to move on to other projects. So sad, but if whoever runs Tetryon Parts and they're watching this, please open it up, because I guarantee you will make so much money and so much business, because there are so many people asking in forums about you. One of my most favourite parts of the brass etching kit has got to be the photon torpedo tube here. Okay, this is just one big strip which has been scored here and here and folds all the way around to the other side. The amount of detail on this strip is incredible. Like, I've been making models in Enterprise for years. I've never noticed these vents here before until I started looking closer at the studio model. And also you've even got the portal right here and right there. A lovely part to include on your Enterprise D. So now we start on the phaser banks. Now the Enterprise D has many of these all over its hull. This particular one goes on the engineering hull. However, as you can see, as a brass engine, it's two-dimensional. There's only a front and a back. And we know, looking at this example of the Enterprise D studio model, it's raised slightly. So we're going to have to alter this. Now on the actual plastic model, I've scraped off the raised detail because it stuck out too much. It should be very, very subtle. So as you've seen in my previous episodes, I've actually just sanded this completely off. However, leaving a slight ghosting of the outside of where the phaser bank should be. So I can stick this on and locate it in the correct position later. After I've done this. There we go. It's slightly curved, if you can just see in the camera. Only ever so slightly. If I just turn it around, you can see the tiny little folds there. And how I've done this is very easy. It's to use a brush. Okay, this is just a standard brush. And what you do, you get your brass etching and then you bend it around, as you can see there. Bend it around the end of the brush until you get that nice curvature as what we saw. And once you've done that, and once you're happy with it, you stick it onto the hull with some super glue later on. And that's the phaser banks. That's one of many that I've got to do now. Even the bridge needs some alterations as well. Actually, most of it's fine except for the very back where the ready room is, around about here. You can just barely see it. Let me just see if I can focus in there. Those windows are tiny, they're little dots, so what we need to do is sand those down. We can't fill them because we want to light up the windows, and so we're going to have to sand this down with some wet and dry all the way down and clean it up that way, so just to remove those indentations. And then later on we're going to use masking tape to mask off each individual window that makes up the ready room as based on TV show. So I need to start referencing some of the episodes, and we just keep on doing that until those little divots go. And then what I'll do, I'll just go up the gradients of wet and dry, and so I can get back that lovely smooth surface, so when I start spraying it and painting it, the entire surface will be even. The recognisable saucer section. Now if I just zoom in here, you can see the leading edge has all these divots which are indicating the windows. However, just like most things on this model, it's completely inaccurate. They are way too small compared to the studio model. So this is roughly where 10 forward would be, and all these windows go around the entire saucer section edge. So what we need to do is get rid of them by using some white putty, and we are going to sand that down once it dries. So just put a little bit of my finger here. Now it's not toxic, like you're not, so long you don't eat it, and just dab it just where the windows are, all the way around, like so. And once that hardens, you can sand it all off. Very simple. So after you've done the filling and it's cured, you need to start sanding it down. I'm using 400 wet and dry paper, and you have to be careful because the problem is if you start sanding too much, you're going to start damaging the edge. So you have to be very careful, slow and steady. However, look, yes, that's 10 forward. I just realised that I need to actually include 10 forward on the lip of the saucer section, because on the latest studio model they actually lit that up. And also it's quite important, other than the bridge and the engineering section, it's one of the few things that you can see on the outside, and it's in a number of episodes of Star Trek, so I've got to put that in there. However, those windows are in the way, and the thing is, if you fill the windows, they're full of white filler, so what I need to do is sand it down very carefully, just enough that you just sand off those horrible windows, leaving a nice clear edge. And then you go down to 1200 wet and dry, which this actually is, dip it in water and make it nice and clear again. It's a tedious process, but it's well worth the effort for that detail alone. So another detail that needs to be addressed on the saucer section is the main shuttle bay. Now, to the keen eye, it looks fine. However, this bit here, these two walls either side of the main shuttle bay, if you compare that to the studio model, they come out a little bit further and they're more angular, whereas this is sloped. So we're going to address that by using some modelling clay, some milliput, and start sanding that down. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it, and as always, I've included some helpful links below that will guide you to the companies that I've mentioned and where I got my parts from. Also, I don't really regularly upload these videos because, as you can understand, I want to take my sweet time on this model and make it as perfect as I can. And so every time I do upload a video, please subscribe, because you will be alerted when I do, and you can follow my progress until the very end when we can actually say engage. Shameless promotion. By trade, I'm an illustrator and graphic designer, and I love Star Trek so much that I've designed a range of lovely posters built around that world, ranging from the ships of Starfleet to the captains who captained them, including Sisko, who was in Deep Space Nine, but he did have the Defiant as well. Now, there's two places where you can get my poster designs. There's one, Displate. Now, Displate is an American-based company. They deliver around the world, and it's beautiful. They print my designs on metal plate, and there's a whole selection of sizes. As you can see, absolutely beautiful, and you can attach them to the wall for everyone to see. Now, they're a little bit pricey, so one thing I do recommend people who go to Displate do, look out for promo codes. They're always doing promotions where you can get 20 to 30% off, especially about now when I'm doing this video for the Christmas period. I think there's like 20% off if you use a promo code. Second place where you can get it from is Etzy. I've got an Etzy store. Okay, they're paper based, but it's a beautiful silk finish to these lovely posters, ranging from A4 all the way up to A0. So if you do want to have a cheaper paper version of that design, by all means click on the link below. Right, I've got to go now. I'm going to go boldly where no man ever wants to go. That's right, shoe shopping with the girlfriend. So you take care and wish me luck. I'd rather face the Borg.
Library computer data.